A very, very warm good evening here from Germany. This is Arun Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel. And a very good morning if you are in India. Good afternoon if you're in other parts of the world. Maybe even a good morning wherever you are. And I actually didn't think of doing a live today, but things have heated up in regard to the I-League boycott. In India, it's already the 22nd of November. It's supposed to be the starting date of the new I-League season, and it's not clear what's going to happen. Is it our match is going to take place because officially there is a boycott of the clubs. On the other side, it's going to be interesting to see, as I say, and therefore let's discuss this and other things that are there on this matter. Shuvash, hello, welcome back, and see, because normally on Friday we would see the league kickoff in the afternoon with Srinivas Deccan Football Club playing and hosting Gokulam Kerala FC at the Deccan Arena in Hyderabad, while in the evening the 7 p.m. kickoff would have been Inter-Kashi versus Sporting Club Bangalore. So the promoted side in their first game, 7 p.m. in Kalyani. But it's not clear. It's not clear what is going to happen, what could happen. And I'm not surprised in how things have gone, actually. A lot of people have told me, how could it get so bad? And, I put out quite a number of tweets today. To me, I think it's very, very clear, very, very evident that we were just heading towards this situation, I felt, because of the situation being the way it is in the federation at the moment. And there's no clarity on where we want to go. Shrachi seems to be like the saviors of Indian football at the moment, and it's crazy to think that we are, therefore, it's something where we will, we will have to wait and see what happens, as I say, and then head into an unclear future. Firstly, I don't think people can join this live session. It's 2:32 in India. Yes, I know, Subhash. But again, I thought I'd still do a live. And again, whoever wants to join, again, it's not just people in India, but it's Indian football fans around the world potentially who can join in. Because I thought it is an interesting day, an interesting morning to have this conversation. Hi, Gyansham. Because I think it's a decisive day in regard to where are we heading with Indian football, where are things moving, because if the I-League clubs do actually boycott the kickoff today, it is something which would be a big step in regard to Indian football, because if you look the graphic I've created, which you see here, I call the AIFF disaster, Blue Tigers in crisis. Let's call it this way. India has not won a game this year. The structure that the AIFF have had for 2.5 years ago, all of that has been destroyed. Let's call it what it is, destroyed. And that is the shocking fact, I feel, that we are in a situation of where how can you save this whole situation, right? Hi, Delek. I-League is broadcasted by SSE, and yes, it is supposed to be broadcasted, not broadcast. It's rather going to be streamed. Sorry, let me keep that question of yours there. Supposedly, it should be streamed by the new OTT platform that Shrachi has created, even though there's no clarity on that as well. So therefore, a lot of things that are not clear, where we don't know how things can, could, would move forward, because it is a weird one, because there was originally looked like that the deal would be between the AIFF and Sony to broadcast the league, which for the I League would be a huge step to get onto a broadcasting platform like Sony. And yeah, that seemed to have been sorted. I mean, I first heard it, I think, in July from someone, that they could be, on the verge of getting involved, and it seemed like FSDL had nothing against it. So it was, it was a win-win for the I League, and it was a win-win for the clubs, and for the AIFF to get its second tier, and suddenly things seem to have changed over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, because you suddenly had a tender of production for the I League. The monies involved are so low that the usual suspects who produce Indian football matches, a lot of them said, you know what, we will not be willing to bid for those production rights. Shrachi at some stage got involved. And then, yeah, Sony was suddenly gone. There was only Shrachi left. The AIFF wasn't really talking to the clubs. There was no proper communication from what I hear. The I League Clubs Association, there was a conversation, and had a virtual press conference last Saturday, and I took part in that, and listened to what all the 12 clubs had to say. It was, it was good to see that there was a certain level of unity. And since then, the effort has been to try and find out what can be done. And then on Monday, the Exco met at the AIFF Exco met, and then they gave Shrachi a timeline till Wednesday, which of course is yesterday, so to say, or if you're in India, it's already day before yesterday, Wednesday, the 20th of November, to confirm that Sony would be broadcasting on its TV channels, or on one channel at least, the matches of the I League. That did not happen. And then the I League club said, till 8 p.m. on Thursday night, they need a confirmation for things to move ahead. But then there is also this rumor about that, okay, that Sri Deccan and Gokulam Kerala will go ahead and actually play the game because they've traveled, and yeah, and that's where it is, where it's the real test will be if the I League clubs stand together. That is, I think, the whole question now. Or is the AIFF trying to break that? Because that's been done in the past. Whenever clubs came together and wanted to do something, it was very, very easy to influence one or two clubs and break that unity. And and again, is Ranchi really ready? Teams have traveled, so that's also something, that teams have traveled, and they've had now an extended preseason also. Nobody has given a reason for that. If I remember right, the I League was supposed to start on the 19th of October, which in itself is a weird date, because in the ISL you had on that day the Kolkata Derby. It doesn't make sense if East Bengal and Mohun Bagan play each other to have the launch of the I League on that day. So, the league was delayed by over a month. Teams have now had, some of them teams have had now preseason for 2.5, 3 months. And we'll have to wait and see. Gancham says I League clubs have to stand on their statement. Gancham, I think, and I stated that. I mean, I can, go back on my own tweets today. I mean, some of these people who have been around now for a while, they worked hard to remove the old AIFF, right? They worked hard to remove the old AIFF, and it forced a FIFA ban. We didn't move any bit forward. Let's be honest about that. And are they really united? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the big question of this Friday. Are the I League clubs united in pushing this through? or will there be sort of verbal or even written assurances from the AIFF saying, yeah, we'll do it, but just please now start. You know, and so that's the difficult part at this moment. Who knows? Maybe Sony just pulled out. Dead Shark, no, Sony didn't pull out. Again, it's not a question of Sony pulling out. The question here was always, is that Sony would have been given a finished product and they just broadcast it, right? For Sony, it's not a hassle. Sony's not paying for the rights. It's free content for them, free live content for them, and therefore they would have just put out the content that again would have been produced, and they agreed to it. They agreed to it. This was not an effort by the AIFF. It is not an effort from FSDL. It was certain individuals who took it on them, who made this possible. And then it was suddenly sidelined because Shrachi came into the picture. What the insider says, Yacham, the problem is with the so-called insiders is that there are so many individuals, so many clubs, so many entities involved, that there's no clarity on where this whole story is going at the moment. I think that's the biggest challenge that one will have with this whole situation, with this whole scenario, is that at the moment, as we speak, there have been different stories on this matter, on what's happening. Certain people have written also now as well that teams could be playing. Teams are not interested in the boycott. They just want to get along with the competition, and therefore it's going to be very, very interesting to see where it all goes. I think, let me quote Marcus 1 second. Marcus, amongst other things, quoted and a senior AIFF official without naming him. It's an unauthorized organization. That official speaking about the I-League Clubs Association. Not recognized by the AIFF. We have not received any letter from any of the clubs so far. As far as we are concerned, the league is starting on Friday and all arrangements have been made. So that's the stand of the federation. Earlier in the day, the I-League clubs, via the I-League Clubs Association, had written to the AIFF and said, I-League clubs request you to send us confirmation of Sony Network as the official broadcaster of the I-League 24-25 by 8 p.m. tonight, failing which I-League clubs will not commence the league as scheduled to commence tomorrow. So that is the official communication sent by the I-League clubs to the AIFF president. And that's the situation as it was. And there are some who says that the 12 clubs are not united, that there are a few clubs who actually want to go ahead and play, irrespective of getting Sony as a broadcaster or not. But no one can confirm. So therefore, we'll have to wait for 4:30 or for 7 p.m. tomorrow to see if the matches or one of the two matches will be held or not. So that's the current overall status. Why can't government channels like DD Sport broadcast it in 2000s? They used to broadcast it, and why not now? That check potentially, I think, that could be done. But I don't think that the clubs want it to be on DD Sports, because I don't know how many people actually do watch DD Sports. Compared to that, Star Sports, Sony, Sports 18 have a much, much bigger reach than DD Sports nowadays in regard to sports, live sports. Did AIFF respond? Arnab, as far as I know, there was no response till 8 o'clock. The problem here is that, again, as I just read out from what Marcus said, that the AIFF is not even, that they don't even recognize the Bollywood which is trying to fight for the case on that front. iLeague should be broadcast in YouTube with better quality, as it will have more reach instead of begging other media to broadcast it. Delek, it has been broadcast in the past on YouTube. It has been in the past broadcast on Facebook as well. Yes, potentially you will say reaches more. But when it comes to sponsors want your competitions, whoever or whatever competitions is, they always want it on a linear television channel in regard to any league. So therefore, this is still, streaming, be it on via streaming platform, an OTT, or streaming via platforms like YouTube or Facebook, like social media platforms. That potentially is an option, but I don't think that people see it as an option. But DD much better than SSEN. Ganshana, I'm not comparing SSEN, which is the Shrachi Sports OTT platform. I am comparing DD to Star Sports, Sony, as well as Sports 18. I'm comparing it with television channels. So we're comparing, some other things. Hey, Mourinho, very good morning to you. iLeague starts tomorrow. Future looks all shiny and bright under guidance. We're so excited. Lovely sarcastic comment from your end. We all know EPL clubs are heavily dependent on broadcasting revenue. In Indian context, how important is it, and can clubs survive without it? Indian clubs get nothing, that chart. There is no, no revenues generated, be it ISL, be it iLeague, iLeague 2, iLeague 3, Indian Women's League. There's no revenue generated. And even, we're not even in that. So therefore, it's a loss-making entity. As of now, is there any kind of platform confirmed for live streaming? Yes or no? It is the platform that we were just speaking about. SSEN, that's the Shrachi Sports OTT platform. Let me just see if I can find a link for you guys. And so no, I'm not finding a link. But that's now the platform which is supposed to be streaming the iLeague. They have, so to say, confirmed in their portfolio and iLeague 2, IWL, as an Indian Women's League, the Men's Santosh Trophy final round, and the Women's Nationals. Plus, they also show the Calcutta Football League. So you can buy the league's bouquet for 100 rupees. Match by match is 20 rupees, and if you want to buy all of those together, it's a 600. I need to work on camera quality and commentary. Yeah, that's right. But if you see the amount of money that are being put into the systems, where are you going to get quality? Are you going to get a good quality commentator who does it for 1,000 rupees? That's not going to happen, right? We in Indian football, as fans, you expect Premier League quality, but nobody wants to spend anything on it. I mean, even 100 rupees for a whole season, to me, doesn't sound much, right? But again, is it going to deliver the quality that it's needed? And that's the challenge, right? Let's see. Summit says, doesn't it make more interesting with uncertainty of broadcast and last minute drama and tension? We just need another perspective, take it positively. Sambit, where are you seeing the positivity? If the clubs are tense, if the clubs are unhappy, the schedules are changed, if the calendar is not kept, right? All of small little things, if we just add them up, Um, and it's not clear what is going to happen and when it's going to happen. How do you take it positive? This is elsewhere in the world, the schedule, the tentative schedule of your league season ahead of the start of the season, right? You know, um, and this is something which I find very difficult. Very difficult in an Indian context of how do we turn this whole thing around, right? It's very very challenging, in my opinion, very very challenging that we are in the situation we are in, and I hope that things move for the better. But at the moment, Samit, to me, it's not a positive outlook if we are um, trying to have this sort of last minute drama. Um, and again, people are not talking positively about Indian football at the moment, anyway, right? So it would have been great today if things were positive and we were talking about the league kicking off, this, that, everything. We're not talking about that. We are talking about, yeah, we're talking about the clubs wanting or not wanting, the clubs being forced to boycott the league because the federation is not keeping commitments. And this is, yeah, doesn't work. I think they should charge, even if it's 100. We are used to get free and poor streamings. I would rather have a paid and quality streaming. Arnab, I agree, but 100 rupees is not going to get you far. For a whole season, 100 rupees, more than 100 matches, I think 130 plus matches, most probably. You're not even paying, if you want to watch all matches, you're not even paying a rupee a match. What kind of quality streaming are you going to get for that money? Right? So that's the thing, right? Would a quality streaming partner, let's say Netflix is involved, let's say in Formula One, doing stuff in Formula One, right? Or in American football or whatever. Amazon is involved now in Europe in Amazon Prime in streaming of football. They spend money because Apple is involved in Major League Soccer because they see the money, they earn money themselves, but they also spend money on the broadcast. In India, it is a new platform created this week, you know, yeah, and I think nobody knows it, right? And therefore that's the problem. So therefore, yeah, let's see where we get with this. Detrek asked, as you were in management, what is the main source in revenue? Are they totally dependent on passion money from owners? See, your main revenue sources normally are in the world of football is, we've spoken about it, television revenue, which is a big zero in India. Sponsorship, right? That's a big chunk, or can be, or should be a big chunk. Your match days, so gate receipts, tickets. Yeah, those are the big ones. And of course, if you have merchandise in some sort of form or way, that can also generate money. So those are the ones. And yes, in the Indian context, the losses are 70, 80, 90%, whatever people are saying. And then that has to be covered by the owners. And the owners sometimes utilize it or call it sponsorship via their own brands. But is it working? I have my doubts. We've not moved ahead in 10 years of ISL. That's a brutal reality. And the same thing can be said of the I League, which was started in 2007. The same thing can be said about the NFL, which was the precursor to the I League in 1996. We have not moved ahead in Indian football, and that is for me, that's the biggest concern of ours. Absolutely agreed. No promotion for the app. Yes, Arnab. FSDL and ISL is the main culprit. They promote all I League fans, clubs to reduce for the problems to I League shutdown. For I League shutdown. Again, the I League existed before FSDL came around. The I League existed before the ISL was started. The question needs to be asked, the commercial failures of Indian football were there before FSTL came around the corner. Has FSTL done everything right? Of course not. Have the ISL clubs done everything right? No. But the I League clubs today are in this situation because they have maneuvered themselves into this situation. That has to also be said. They're, to play the victim. This is something which a lot of people do in Indian football. I'm the victim, but I'm not the culprit. Sadly, the culprits and the victims are not very often the same in an Indian football context. That's a very scary part of the reality, and nobody wants to accept it, but that's the reality of Indian football at the moment, that we have a problem in regard to what is happening, what is not happening. A lot of the people in these I League clubs work towards getting rid of the old AIFF, as I've written a few tweets today. People like Kushal Das, Sunand Dhar, did a lot of things right. If you look at it now, and I said that at the time they did, because there were certain compulsions of doing certain things in a certain way in an Indian football context. The Indian Arrows was a must, and this is something of a reality that we have in Indian football. And people turn around the realities, as they like and as it fits them. Was it not 2 months ago that the I League clubs sat down in Delhi with the AIFF and were very happy with the new AIFF management and with the AIFF president, and even large scale social media posts were put out by all the clubs? Why? Why was it not discussed at that time, right? Because at that time it looked like Sony is going to do it. Sony is going to get it. And it didn't happen. So this is something, I think, big learning for everybody, that things haven't gone the way they should. It's a challenge for Indian football. It was a challenge. It is a challenge for Indian football. And hopefully something comes out of it. But, hi, Shorodip. Is there any clarity on whether I League will start tomorrow? No. Shorodip, at the moment, as it stands, as we speak, and it's nearly 3 a.m. in India, we will have to wait another 13.5 hours to see if Srinidhi Deccan and Gokulam Kerala take the field. And let's see. Let's see what happens if they turn up. If you speak to 10 people tonight, or let's say if you speak to 12 clubs and you speak to other people, you speak to AIFF, you speak to this, you speak to that, the clubs are together on this, but there are certain clubs who are, rather want to get on with business and not do a boycott. So that's also something, and I don't know if it's very true, but I would think that tonight there would have been another call amongst the clubs, amongst the clubs of the Indian Clubs Association, and we'll have to wait and see what they say, right? So it's If a speaker is a neutral without any biases, they are lucky they even got a sponsor. They are whining for no reason. If they don't earn revenue, why are after high revenue broadcaster? See, Dead Shark, we have. Let's put it this way: there are corporates also involved in the I League, in the I League clubs. If you look at it, for example, Gokulam Group, Srinidhi as a group. There is a group behind Intakashi. So, the new investors of Rajasthan United. Mr. Royte himself, a corporate, Aizawl FC. So there are quite a few of these, right? So therefore, for them, that exposure via television is of value, right? To earn, I think the other question that Indian football needs to ask itself, if I see that clubs are spending 10, 12, 15 crores on I-League teams. Is it money that you need to spend on these teams? First, simple question, right? Because at the end of the day, we say that the top ISL clubs are overspending on their players. No. I think generally in the Indian football system, we are overspending on the players because the salaries of the players at most of these clubs are 70, 80, maybe even 90% of salaries. And therefore, there needs to be, again, I think the stakeholders need to sit down and talk about things and try to find solutions. I think that's the challenge for Indian football that we have today. And I won't be able to tell you anything else, right? Because at the moment, this is the reality. This is where we are. This is where we stand. And it's very complex and very, very complicated, in my opinion. All right, already 31 minutes. Wow, I didn't even realize it. Good to see you guys joining me in this late night Indian football discussion. For some of you, it's early morning discussion. Some of you, it's an afternoon discussion. So thanks for joining in. As always, if you like the discussion, do leave a like behind, share it with other people. Let more and more people join our conversations here on arunfoot, on Indian football. Try to be the most honest as I can. 5 likes so far. Thanks a lot, guys. Let's try and push that. Trying to get more and more subscribers, of course, with your help. 1,946 subscribers at the moment. So 54 to go. 54 to go until the 2,000 mark. So spread it. Thanks a lot as always, and let's keep on growing and try and pushing. Maybe another propaganda, Mr. Ranjit. Not a Chuck. I don't think this time it's about propaganda. This is a real issue, a real problem. There are other issues that we can talk about, but in this case, no, it's not. I just want to know for once what kind of happens in this kind of meetings, absolute jokes. On a lot of pleasantries are exchanged, but the hard facts are not discussed. That's my concern when I see, what has happened, what is happening, and we need to find solutions to things, right? And Indian football is moving in a very, very wrong direction at the moment, or for a certain period of time, actually. And nobody wants to stop, and wants to change things for good. And that's very, very worrying. Very, very worrying. As I told you earlier today, this reminds me of early 2000s. Yeah, Ochut, first of all, good afternoon to you, to your part of the world. It is somewhat similar. The problem only is, compared to the 2000s, that was still a trial and error period for Indian football, I feel, because we were trying to make Indian football professional. We were trying to make Indian football professional, move ahead from where we were. We're somewhere else, or we are somewhere else in 2024. Whatever people say, we are in a different mood, in a different world. Sports has moved on, and but Indian football hasn't. And that to me is a big, big problem, right? I mean, we can talk about the Kerala government wanting to invite Argentina, right? What are your priorities? Are our priorities right? And it isn't, right? This just proves that early 2000s, again, under Mr. Rasmunsi, Albert Colasso came in, Football House was built and opened, the NFL was turned into the I League. A lot of things happened. Then, the clubs, some of the clubs shut down. 2010, Mahindra shut down. J-City shut down their first team. Yeah, and a lot of things have happened since then. But the question is, in 2024, why and how can the organization of the AIFF be in such a situation that despite all the problems, things used to run? That's my only thing. You can have problems. You can have issues. But how can it be that we are hours away from the official kickoff of the I League? And we don't know what's going to happen, right? So that's the thing which I found, or which I find very, um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we're heading with this. I'm honestly not sure where we're heading with this. So, you're very, very right. Early 2000s, the NFL clubs tried to get rid of Mr. Dasmunsi. Mr. Dasmunsi got certain people on his side, and the whole rebellion disappeared. But here, let's see what happens. Is it confirmed that Argentina has accepted the proposal? No, that Chuck, there is no acceptance. The issue is there is an offer. Argentina will be asking for a certain amount of money to play the one or the two matches. It looks like that the Kerala government, for whatever reason, wants to play two matches in the state. And then we'll see if the commitment of the Kerala government is enough to convince Argentina to say, you know what, we want to play in Kerala. And to me, there is no reason to say or to think that this would work, because it is about, if Argentina comes, it's about playing, earning money, and going home, and then saying, we love football, we love you guys, this, that, everything. It's a PR exercise for the Argentinians. And for Kerala, it's a PR for the government. Yeah. I don't know how it would work. Too many things are uncertain for that match. Be sure Messi, if he plays, will play at most one match. Or not, let's wait and see. As with everything else, we don't even know, right? If he's injured, which has happened in the past, look at the hype around last year's Al Hilal match in Mumbai. Mumbai City shifted the match from Mumbai Football Arena to DY Patil. And then Neymar was injured, right? So he couldn't play. Ochut says, keeping the quality aside, I-League was competitive for the last few years. It is being downplayed, same with the Fed Cup, Super Cup. Yeah, it was I-League. See, the I-League has been pushed over the last decade by the ISL, right? And if people want to accept it or not, a lot of professionalism came into the I-League because they started copying things that became standard in the ISL. So that's a fact. And yeah, it's sad to see that we are in the situation where we are now, because I think if timelines were kept, things could have been worked out properly, you know. So let's see. Is there any possibility I-League won't happen? Betshak, that's also a possibility. But I think none of the sides want that to happen, right? Because the clubs have contracted the players. These clubs, entities, whatever we want to call them, exist that because football exists, you know. So I don't think that the I-League will not. I don't think it will not happen. I think it will happen. Maybe it will start a little later, but not sure what will happen. We don't have a national cup competition for clubs. Or should we have in its own, own form, and that's the Super Cup at the moment. Federation Cup, we would have said in the past. But again, even, that was something, right? The Federation said, oh, you know what? This year onwards, the Federation Cup comes back and we'll play it as a proper, cup competition like the FA Cup in England or the DFB Cup in Germany, Copa del Rey in Spain. What happened? Nothing. Now they're saying we're not even sure if we will play the Super Cup at the end of the season. We are looking at a complete mess of the whole ecosystem. I'm late, but your opinion, Arjuna, coming to Kerala. Pranjal, my opinion on that, if you want to get a full rundown, not on you, but the others as well, I've done a video earlier today, and where I asked the question, should Messi's Argentina play in Kerala? Yeah, that's my question. And if you ask me, if they should, I don't know if that money that the government wants to spend, is that marketing spend they would have spent on something else? Is it money that they've diverted from the sports funds? I don't know those facts, right? So it has no value. It is great for football fans, who want to maybe get a chance to watch Messi live. But otherwise, it has no value for Indian football. Arnav says, even for us, it's a new low. In this day and age, we are discussing whether the second day of National Football League will happen on the pre-inaugural day. But it's not even the pre-inaugural day. It is the inaugural day. In India, you guys are already, it's 3:14 a.m. in India. So that means we are already, on November, or it is already November 22nd in India, and we're discussing this, right? So that's the brutal reality of things at the moment. And again, it's sad that we have to discuss this rather than talking about, who do we think can be champions, who is pushing for what. No, we're discussing sorry, if the league will happen at all. So yeah, let's wait and see. Is any I-League club making profit? No. They're like, no team in India makes profit, whatever people say. It's sad for clubs who have been training since Durand Cup for preseason, and then this happens. Yeah, but again, the clubs have to blame themselves. If they trusted the AIFF 2 months ago to sort this thing out and didn't happen, it is also to some extent on the clubs, right? The clubs should know. And again, it is very interesting that on Saturday in that press conference, certain people said that, they were, I wouldn't say they were surprised, but they realized that that they have that they are in a situation because they didn't get the thing sorted with the federation in the first instance. Now they're even saying to put it on a broadcast platform that the clubs have to contribute anything between 10 to 12 and a half lakhs, right? It is, some of these things are bizarre. Cup competition was supposed to be midweek. U13, U15, U17 was supposed to be 7 months long. Everything in bins now. Yeah, no. Again, that uh, you know, can they spend 30 lakh for Sony broadcast? What happened if each I League club invests 30 lakh for broadcast? They pay 2 or 3 crore to player. Why not for better broadcast? Ritik, yeah. To me, again, the conversation now was over the last few days that the I League clubs would invest between 10 to 12 and a half lakhs into that broadcast. The AIFF would put in money as well, and then they would cover the cost. Yeah, it's not fine. I'm hoping Interkashi wins. Howard's return also would be very interesting. The team looks well balanced too. Yeah, agree. Interkashi would be my top favorites, but don't count out Srini Deccan. Don't count out Gokulam Kerala. And again, some other team as a surprise. Also, 7 p.m. IST kickoff at Kolani Stadium. Maybe broadcaster's choice, but not good for stadium attendance given that these clubs are not that popular. Ocho, I don't think it makes much of a difference because what I have now learned, whoever plays in Kolani, very few people from Kolkata travel up north, so to say. I mean, I have traveled there. I did the I League broadcast a couple of years back for the I League in the bubble for the last 3 weeks, and I traveled every day from Kolkata, from Salt Lake side to Kolani. Nobody else did. Even if you said, "Listen, guys, come along, watch the games," people didn't travel. So that's the reality. If money wasn't the issue, if FSTL doesn't renew the contract, would you prefer AIFF run both the leagues, or do you think private entity runs the league better? Um, I think if you look at the way FSDL runs the ISL, and if you see how the AIFF is currently running the I League, I think that gives you an answer, right? And I've heard a lot today, people saying, "Oh, you know what? The clubs need to come together and they need to, run the league." The clubs can't run profitable club entities. How are they going to run a league where you don't have money, right? So we have to be honest with these kind of assumptions that there are, that we are facing the situation as it is. I think a private entity, yes, is better to run it in the name, or if you want to make it professional. But even the AIFF, if under Sunanda Dhar as I League CEO and his team, the I League was running fine. As I said, the I League ran 2 years in a bubble. FSDL had all its capabilities or possibilities, and Reliance did everything that they could. But even the AIFF was able to run the I League. So if I look at all those things and I just compare, then the reality is that, yeah, a private entity most probably is better. But if the AIFF in-house has the manpower, the leadership, they can also run it. And at the moment, they don't have the leadership, they don't have the manpower, they don't have the expertise, the knowledge, the money. All of these are factors. Football is a difficult business to handle. Agree, Pranjal. Why do we even have incompetent people in AIF in such a sport? Pranjal, it's not just the AIF. Are the right people running the clubs? Are the investors? I've heard from a lot of investors, "Oh, I understand football, this, that, everything." And they're like sitting there and thinking, "No, you don't." You know? So those are all realities at the moment. So let's wait and see. Sir, who are dignitaries who will inaugurate the I League tomorrow? I would think, don't know if they're traveling. I would have thought the AIFF secretary might be traveling to Hyderabad to inaugurate the league. And maybe Kalyan turns up in Kolani. Not sure. 3 p.m. ISL matches at Kolani Nohati Stadium loading from next season. Exclusive coverage by SSCN. Mourinho, that would be the worst nightmare. In my opinion, for me at least, it would be the worst nightmare. If that's the reality of the future of Indian football, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Again, as I always like to say, Reliance hasn't done everything right. FSDL hasn't done everything right, but they still run the league, spend money on this league, right? And give them give them a little credit for that, I always say. And everything else, we are in disaster mode, right? So therefore, I don't know. I don't know where we're heading. Will relegation happen this season? ISL, as far as I know, that track, no, there's been no communication pre-season. So therefore, no, not happening. Forget the AIFF state and district FASF officials who don't even know the offside rule. Yeah, that's the reality of people involved in football these days, right? That's the biggest concern, I think, in my opinion, that we have a big problem in the people who are involved in Indian football these days, who might not even know the basics of what's happening, right? So, yeah, it's very, very difficult, but I think, we have to try and find means and ways of what's happening, not happening, but yeah, it's something where I'm not sure where the answer lies. They basically goes to office for eating chai and kochuri. See, the problem is with your state and district FAs is also that most people who go there are not even paid staff. Often they're honorary, right? So what can you demand from these people? So the problem is where do we start? Our foundations are weak. I always like to say that, right? Our foundations in Indian football are weak, right? To me, the challenge is at the end of the day, our grassroots are not good. Our youth football is not good. Coaching is a problem, but nobody wants to talk about it. Our competitions are not good, or not good enough. And now these problems that we speak about, which should be a problem of the future, have become a problem of now. Why? Competitions, look at the situation of the I-League. Coaching again, I think generally the problem is known. Our basics are not good enough, even at senior level. And yeah, that is then linked to our competitions in regard to youth and grassroots, where our players, first of all, not getting enough matches, not getting good enough opponents' exposure, and they're not learning the basics right. So all these points are interlinked, and that makes me so worried where we stand on this very day. Yeah, and I would hope that things would change, but sometimes it's difficult. Yesterday I made a video about Indian football national team failures of 2024, and that was a tough video to make, right? I was trying to get over it again and again and again, and it's just, wow, this is tough. This is really, really tough for me to make, right? And because how low have we fallen? How, can it go any further? And that worries me. I'm on one side, I'm pragmatic in my approach. I'm realistic in my approach, but when it comes to football, I also sometimes like to dream. of bigger, better things happening for Indian football. But at the moment, what is or what could be rock bottom for us? I don't know. It's very, very worrying, right? And I know enough people who understand, who see the situation, but who are not stepping in. Hi, Gaurav. What does Sony want in order to broadcast games? Sony wants nothing. They want a free product to be put on their channels. It's about production costs and other things, because the production for Sony will have to be better than what they're going to put out on streaming. That's the reality. Sony wants nothing. Sony is not offering. Sony is just saying, listen, yeah, give me your product, finished product, and I'll put it out there. But SSEN, the new OTT streaming platform of Ranchi Sports, most probably wanted exclusive content, and that's where the clash now seems to be, and that, you know, that's where we are. Problem is, many of them know what needs to be done, but for reasons unknown, nothing is being done. No, Achut, they know very well. A lot of people in a lot of different positions within Indian football don't do anything. And I tell you why, very simple. Because they want to cling on to their seats. Because they know they're not qualified to be there where they are. A lot of people. AIFF, state affairs, clubs, yeah, even the players. That is, we have a problem of quality. Lack of quality, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, right? So, why do you think AIFF didn't accept the Sony proposal? Is this the case of lobbying? It has nothing to do with Sony. The Sony deal was done. They are getting some sort of money from Ranchi for the broadcasting of the I-League. And that's why the AIFF is in a situation that anybody who offers them 5 rupees, they'll take up the offer, right? That's why Hyderabad hosted the India game against Malaysia, because the Telangana government took care of its costs. The AIFF have a financial crunch, right? If someone offers them even a little bit of money, they'll take it. That's the reality. Why are Ranchi Sports deal not out in the public broadcast deal? And Gaurav, these deals, normally are not out in the public. It's not a football thing. It's generally in there. Someone then discloses some figures, but yeah. How they ISL start relegation? They brought 15 crore for entry fee. What's your opinion about, sir? Ritik, see, the relegation part is also two things. As someone who's involved in creating the ISL more than 10 years back, as someone who worked in the first season of the ISL setting up Mumbai City FC, one has to understand that these individuals or these corporates who were wanting to invest wanted a certain guarantee that the investment didn't go down the drain, right? So if you look at 2013, 2014, when the lobbying was on for corporates to come forward to invest into an ISL team, before the ISL even existed, one of the things that they said is, hey, listen, for 10 years minimum, there won't be any relegation. It's a closed league. You'll be in the league for sure. So that happened. Then the AFC and FIFA came along with the roadmap. Amongst other things, I was involved in that as well. And then we said, okay, we have to now figure out a pyramid structure for Indian club football. Now, what is the top league? What could be the top league? Now, even if you compare the I League in 2016, 17, 18, and then compared to the ISL clubs are spending double, triple, quadruple of what I League clubs have spent or were spending. I mean, last season, if you look at what the expenditure of Trau and Naroka was, Mohun Bagan most probably spend about 50 to 60 times of that. So the level of competition is no longer there. So then it moved. And then, but it also included the point that East Bengal and Mohun Bagan were shifting to the ISL, right? And then promotion came in. And then they said, you'll have relegation a few years down the road. Now that roadmap, of course, was done in 2018-19. That was pre-COVID. COVID came in. And also one has to be honest enough that the financial outlook that FSDL had, where they thought after 5 years, clubs could be break even. After 10 years, most probably you could start making profits. We are far away from that because television rights are worth a big zero at the moment. So therefore, I don't know when this season, of course, there is no relegation. Might there be something next season? I don't even know if the ISL exists next year. Right? That's going to be the question. If FSL pulls out, I don't see how the ISL will run. Look at how the AIFF is unable to run the I-League at the moment. Shrachi is also investing in Mountain Sporting. Yeah, Gaurav, they have already invested. So therefore, a lot of conflicts of interest, because Rahul Todi, until I think a day or two ago, was vice president of East Bengal Club also. They have invested into rights of the IFA West Bengal for the Candid Football League. Mountain Sporting, you have mentioned, Gaurav. They've also picked up franchisees in the Hockey India League, in the Panja League, and some other leagues. They've got cricket, whatever. So there's a huge investment into sports going in, but yeah. And now this OTT platform. It is a capitalist world. If Sony wants free stuff and doesn't want to invest in broadcasting, expensive, it is their loss. No, Dead Shark, it's not their loss. Sony can live without the broadcast. They'll put on another, either a rematch, a rerun of some cricket game or something which will get them more views. This is not about views. It's for Indian football, for Indian club football. It's a big thing if it can be on a broadcasting channel, on a partner channel like Sony, right? Because the OTT platform we're talking about is so small, non-existent. Yeah, that it does make sense. So that's right, over an hour. Thanks a lot, guys, of those of you who are here tonight on this late night Indian football discussion. If you haven't, do like the video, share the video if you're liking what we're talking about. And if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. 1,946 subscribers. Thank you very much to all of you guys, especially those of you who are now still watching it or maybe watching it tomorrow. I think the word investing should be replaced by the word wasting in the context of Indian football. Yeah, could be said. But what is Shrachi getting out of this deal? I-League is a dead league. Gaurav, they want to create an OTT platform, a sports OTT platform. Maybe it's trial and error to try out something bigger in the future. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to get out of a Mohammedans voting deal, right? I'm not sure. Notes to myself asked, doesn't the Sports Authority of India understand the horrible condition of AIFF and take up the situation with urgent basis to come out from the dark? The Sports Authority of India, what is the Sports Authority of India? The Sports Authority of India is in charge of infrastructure of sports. Sports Authority of India has nothing to do with the AIFF, right? So therefore, these are things which are there, and I'm not sure how things will work out. Even the sports ministry, what is the sports ministry going to do? Is it going to throw out the AIFF? Then FIFA comes in and says, hey, third-party interference, out. It has to come from within. And the people in the AIFF know that things are not going well, but they're not acting. So these are all realities that exist, and hopefully someone wakes up, someone takes a step and wants to change things. I think that's, otherwise things will not happen. Things are not happening at the moment, and that's, to be myself, that's the biggest concern. And therefore, again, also looking at who can step in, who should step in. Courts, not the platform to do it. Either it comes from within football, or it is reported to the next higher authority, and they then take an action. That's the challenge that I see that Indian football has at this moment. All right, that's a difficult one. It's a very, very difficult one. That we find ourselves talking about it in the football context. Right, to just sum up what we've been speaking for over an hour is, at this moment, and it is 3:36 in India, it's less than 13 hours before the I-League is supposed to kick off. Srini Deccan supposed to host Gokulam Kerala at the Deccan Arena at 4:30 p.m. We don't know if it's going to happen or not. Some are now putting out rumors that, hey, listen, the clubs want to play. Clubs have traveled. Clubs have trained. Pre-match interactions have also happened. Let's see. Let's wait and see what happens. Then, of course, evening potential encounter between Inter Kashi and Sporting Club Bengaluru in Kalyani, 7 p.m. kickoff. Not sure where that stands. How does 3-month preparation for I-League affect the team morale like Inter Kashi? I think the morale is not a problem. I think rustiness. We saw Edmund was rusty for the Indian national team because friendlies and training cannot replace competitive matches. That's, I think, a bigger problem. Are you going to be switched on from the first game? So therefore, there might be, in the first few rounds, the one or the other surprise. I think that's a bigger problem. That boredom doesn't come in, that you don't get really the best out of it. I think that those are the dangers. If you have such a long preseason, I think that's the biggest danger now for the clubs. Is Ranchi one of the bidders of ISL if FSDL does not continue from next year? Shumatri, it's not sure, because if you look at it, if the ISL is Reliance product. So the question is, if Reliance moves out of Indian football, do they hand over the ISL back to the AIFF? And then Shachi could come in as a commercial partner. Now with Shachi, I'm not sure, because if we look at the current scenario, the AIFF is having problems in sorting things out and running the I-League. And we are less than 13 hours away, and we're not clear if the league will kick off or not. It is, in my opinion, an unprecedented situation. Because if these kind of situations happened in the past, then matches got postponed. And therefore, it's also a question on the clubs. If the clubs are talking about boycotting, and suddenly the matches take place, then even the credibility of the clubs is gone. How big is Shachi? Shachi isn't that big. Compared to Reliance, they're non-existent. No competition. AIFF and shambles, says Shumadri. Yeah, agree. But that's, again, I've been saying that in my lives for quite a while, sadly. But things have not changed for the better. So that's as I say again and again tonight, it's insane to just think of where we are today in this world, day and age, that we're talking about these kind of things. 1 hour and 10 minutes crossed, slowly coming to an end of this late night Indian football discussion. Thought on, on this momentous day, just to go online, speak with you guys, even if you're in a smaller group than usual. Thanks for joining in, for asking questions, for putting out your viewpoints. And it's difficult to sum up at the moment, at least for me, where we stand. I'm not sure, but the hope is some sort of solution is found in the morning that works. I don't see Sony showing the matches today, but maybe in a few days or maybe a few weeks. And then we see what happens. But it can't continue like this. We need changes in the AIFF. And therefore, we need to talk about it, And Shomadri, not going to talk about transfers tonight. Maybe talk about it in tomorrow's, or in India's already tomorrow, later on Friday, we can talk about it. But I want to end on this, and let's see if there's going to be a boycott today in the I-League, or if the clubs turn up. As always, as I say, like the video, share the video with other people. Let's grow the community. And if you haven't, do subscribe. And I'll be back tonight with the regular Indian football discussion. And then by then we will know if the clubs have played or not. If you haven't slept, good night. If you've woken up, a very good morning. I'll speak to you later in the day.